On the sidelines of the just concluded African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, presidential delegation meets Ethiopian Airlines on ease of doing business.
A productive meeting. We are very happy on the outcome of the discussion.
We have opportunity to be able to address those your concerns, with a view to find a common ground.
Impending crisis in the distribution of petroleum products averted as federal government makes fruitful dialogue with concerned bodies. Federal government douses concern on rising price of cement. Minister of Works myth manufacturers.
We seek some remedies from His Excellency Mr. President.
Hello and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello, and joining me from Lagos is Michael Olale, and of course Musa Abaka will be on the business news segment. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now let's start from the aviation sector. A delegation of the Nigeria's president has met with top management of Ethiopian Airlines to address various trade relation issues. The delegation, directed by President Bola Tinubu, was led by the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, Ahmed. The Ethiopian Airlines had raised a number of issues which could affect its operations and relations with Nigeria. After the meeting in Addis Ababa, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and International Relations, Shola Enikonlaye, briefed the State House correspondent.
They raised a number of issues, fundamental issues affecting our relation between the Ethiopian Airline and us, Nigeria, and the Nigerian government. Of course, I can't give you details of those. We will be reporting back to Mr. President faithfully, honestly, and dutifully, and then he will consider the report and give appropriate instructions to our aviation authorities, particularly the Honorable Minister of Aviation. That was the purpose. Let me just add that those issues are issues that, we need to address so as to smoothen relations and, meet the aspirations of the Nigerian people as well as their own side, and again to advance government agenda on the aviation sector.
It was a very productive meeting. We are very happy on the outcome of the discussion, and we will continue serving the Nigerian public through Ethiopian Airlines flights.
Ethiopian Airlines is one of the largest carriers flying into Nigeria. Meanwhile, screening of incoming passengers at Nigeria's international airport is set to go digital. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo gave the indication after inspecting the newly installed e-gate pass at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Victor Azu reports.
Delays have been a spoiler in Nigeria's international travel system, but that is set to change as the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, arrives the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to inspect newly installed e-gate passes designed for quick checks and less physical contact with immigration officials at the international terminals.
We'll be able to deliver by March, because not just Abuja, we're looking at delivering about 16 in Lagos, then about five in Kano, 4 in Enugu, and 4 in Port Harcourt. Because it's about 30 seconds, to clear an individual, which is a record time anywhere in the world.
Done from the airport, the minister heads for the Nigeria Immigration Service headquarters to take a look at the Command and Control Center, which is said to be 70% completed.
Command and Control Center, as you can see, is more than 70% ready. I learned that all their equipment are already on ground, including the servers. And the contractor has given me his word that in the next 3 weeks, this place will be 100% ready. So it means that the e-immigration project, the border control management project, the automation of border control system is on course.
It's a development that will delight international travelers who will now be counting down to the next 3 weeks. In Abuja, Victor Azo, NTA News.
And away from the aviation sector, the Federal Inland Revenue Service says it is strategizing towards actualizing the 19.41 trillion naira revenue projection for 2024. Executive Chairman FRS Zaka Dedeji, while interacting with the Senate Committee on Finance, says the service will appoint more agents for VAT collection and also leverage on the Finance Act and technology for efficiency.
As a government, we are responsible to make life better for our people. Tax payment is the civic responsibility of people, and you've made law to what we can collect. It will be our desire to reach 30 trillion. That will be our desire. But as it stands today, and given all the economic indices, and going by Mr. President's decision not to increase tax rates, that we just need to go and expand and make sure that we tax prosperity and not poverty, that we don't want to increase. Let's manage 90 trillion that we have now, and hopefully, God's willing, next year we'll be able to achieve your goal of 30 trillion.
The lawmakers expressed confidence that FRS will surpass the 2024 revenue target like it did in 2023.
A lot of manufacturers and a lot of people in the market are complaining of multiple taxation.
Most of the strategies that you have earmarked here are strategies that can really enhance your performance in this financial year. You know the problem that the country is grappling with today in terms of debt burden.
It is only when we have these taxes that we'll be able to develop our infrastructures, engage our teaming youths that have been there unemployed, even looked at the possibilities in terms of growth and development.
And from the Green Chambers, the leadership of the House of Representatives says it will continue to engage the expertise of global development partners to build the capacity of lawmakers and accelerate national development. This was at the unveiling of Parliamentary Development Program, a policy document to guide the 10th House of Representatives in achieving its legislative agenda. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen has details.
This document is the outcome of capacity needs assessment study conducted by the House of Representatives with the support of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and other partners. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu acknowledges that over 80% of lawmakers in the House are new to the legislature, which underscores the need for capacity building to elevate the standard of legislative functions. The document, he says, addresses identified gaps in line with the 8 thematic areas of the legislative agenda of the House.
It has highlighted areas where the House needs to strengthen its capabilities to meet the demands of contemporary governance. These include to strengthening our law-making functions, enhancing our legislative drafting capability, improving our research and analysis function, bolstering our oversight mechanisms, and advancing our engagement with the citizens that we serve.
UNDP, as the global lead development agency with a mandate on governance and support to parliamentary institutions, will continue to support the legislative agenda and the government of Nigeria to fulfill their obligations to the citizens.
This is a work in progress. This is a living document. So let's fill it with life and let's keep it alive, please.
The development partners applaud Parliament's desire to build institutional capacity to respond to citizens' needs in the face of developmental challenges. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikpen, NTA News.
And away from the legislature, queues caused by panic buying of petrol in some stations following notice of strike by NITO are fizzling out. This is as Minister of State Petroleum Resources Oil, Heineken Lokpabiri, engages key players in oil and gas in Abuja. Lydia Sampson reports.
This meeting at the instance of the minister is to find lasting solution to issues resulting in threats of strike in oil and gas. Heineken Lokpabiri appealed to the warring parties of NATO and oil marketers to find a common ground in order not to exacerbate the hardship currently being endured by the people.
I want to assure you that we are willing to engage you people on any issue with a view to find a solution so that we avert, situation where you have to go on strike and it's more harsh. We have opportunity to be able to address those your concerns.
At most filling stations visited, though there were noticeable queues, it was not for lack of product, but as a result of panic buying.
I know government will call them because if you waste time, the economy will flat.
I was just passing to office. I saw the queue. I have to stop by and buy my own because I think something must be wrong.
Media, some people have already started hearing that there will be increment in pump price. But I want to believe it's one of the things that make people want to rush into panic buying. It used to be like maybe 2-3 days highest, the queue will be off.
Is the strike on hold or completely suspended? Only the final outcome of this meeting with NATO, IPMAN, NUPENG, tanker drivers and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, presided over by the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, will provide answer to this question. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And meanwhile, the meeting with key players convened by the Minister of State Petroleum Resources Oil to intervene between the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, and major petroleum marketers is to continue tomorrow Tuesday as no consensus was reached. The Kwara says, though a commercial issue, government is determined to broker peace to mitigate further hardship on citizens. Manufacturers of cement have agreed to peg the price of a bag of the product between 7,000 and 8,000 naira. This was after a meeting with the Minister of Works and his counterpart in Industry, Trade and Investment, Abdullahi Mohammed, reports.
It was a meeting which held behind closed doors, with the manufacturers citing high cost of production and smuggling as the bottom line.
For example, the gas that we use to, power our kiln and power plants, was indexed to, or still indexed to dollars. So we were paying at the rate of 418, then 750. Today we are paying at over 1,514 naira a dollar.
The Minister of Works and that of Industry, Trade and Investment agreed to seek for intervention on behalf of the manufacturer.
We agreed that the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Investment will seek some remedies from His Excellency Mr. President on the high cost of gas they complained
that they are facing and the challenges that they are facing, to ensure that we have smoother operation and that the benefit of the backward integration program, especially in cement, is enjoyed and felt by every citizen in the country.
There was also a move by one of the manufacturers to inject more than 6,000 tons of cement into the system within the coming days. This also follows another move by the ministers to allow for 6 more players to join the wagon of cement production in the country. In Abuja, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Muhammad Matawali, has reaffirmed the ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage, stressing that only the armed forces and the Nigeria Police Force on joint operation will the military allowed by law to use the military camouflage. The ban is in view of recurring cases of criminals disguising as military and paramilitary personnel to cause havoc in the society, noting that government's ban on other paramilitary agencies from the use of the military camouflage is to bring sanity to the system and to checkmate criminal activities. You're watching the network news. We pause now for some commercial break. Thanks for being there. A new presidential direction for Nigeria's housing sector and a new leadership for one of the country's leading public agencies, the Federal Mortgage Bank, has come on stream. Coming after 22 months of the previous leadership, the new management of the bank hopes to lead the institution to meet the inclusive approach of the Tinubu administration for the housing sector. Basade Abel tells us more.
The handshake that seals the deal and the exchange of documents that signals the transfer of leadership from the old to the new, the history and background of the Federal Mortgage Bank, its products and services are the base of its business operating philosophy. For the outgoing managing director of the bank, Madu Haman, the issue of recapitalization remains germane if the mandate on the provision of affordable and sustainable housing for Nigerians is to be achieved.
I have no doubt that the bank will excel, as we are the only hope of the average Nigerian in having access to affordable finance for home ownership. Under the new leadership, I have the belief that together you will continue to adapt, innovate, and thrive in the face of the new challenges and opportunities that the current realities present.
For the new managing director, Shehu Usman Osidi, the president's vision is the needed impetus to succeed. The plan is to run an open, transparent, and accountable administration that would deploy innovation, teamwork, and work smart.
I have no doubt about the availability and abundance of the talents that we need to move this bank forward. I therefore urge all of us to commit to rededicating ourselves to serving the bank honestly and shun all negative attitudes. The challenges of the housing sector are huge. I believe that we understand the issues.
The bank believes with all hands on deck, achieving the vision and mission of the institution, providing affordable housing for Nigerians will meet the target of the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. In Abuja, Bossede Ebo, NTA News.
Fumigation and surveillance on the newly detected H5N1, otherwise known as avian influenza, is ongoing in Kebbi State. This followed an outbreak of the disease on a peacock farm in the state. Usman Abdullahi Shehu has details.
Flu or H5N1, also known as avian influenza, is a type A influenza virus and lethal to poultry and is potentially fatal in humans. Bird flu spread between both wild and domesticated birds. It has also been passed from birds to humans who are in close contact with poultry or other birds. So when 14 peacocks were struck with the flu on a small peacock farm in Kebbi State, government swung into action to mitigate the spread. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Animal Health, Husbandry and Fisheries, Dr. Ahmed Umar Amusa, on the active surveillance they are into to mitigate the spread.
We are on it. We will continue on active surveillance. The One Health component of the state are also working day and night to make sure that the human that are directly involved with this situation are being checked.
Veterinary doctors do visit us for sensitization on the dangers of the virus. Cases like this happened some years back. What we used to do was surveillance when we realize there is a symptom of a particular disease.
Some people who are into poultry business in the state express their readiness to cooperate with the government by reporting any case of symptoms in their birds. The veterinary zonal officers, local government disease surveillance and focal persons at the ward and community levels are also at alert in case of any discovery. In Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
And joining us live from Birnin Kebbi to discuss the emerging potential health threat to poultry and humans is Dr. Ahmed Umar Amusa, Permanent Secretary, Kebbi State Ministry of Animal Health, Husbandry and Fisheries. You're welcome to the Network News.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we are told...
Good evening, thank you.
All right, many thanks, Dr. Amusa. We are told steps have been taken to contain the deadly bird flu. Can you elaborate on how effective those steps are?
Yeah, as you are all aware, on the 29th of January 2024, we had a client that went to our veterinary clinic complaining that his peacock are dying. So in taking the history, he told us that just about 3 days back, some local chickens, about 50 of them were brought into the peacock. So all the local chickens died. And then suddenly his peacocks start dying. So our team of veterinary doctors went to the scene and then they packed the remaining peacocks to the hospital. So the peacocks are 14 in number. Seeing the way the disease, the death, so we just say we have no option than to take samples to be sure of what we are dealing with. So immediately our personnel, now, hello? Now what we are doing now is that immediately after receiving the result from VOM, we just went into the house and then disinfect everywhere. And then we also called immediately our One Health committee involving Ministry of Health, Environment, and our own ministry. And we swim into action. Our counterpart from Ministry of Health also went for contact tracing to make sure that there's no human involvement. So all those people that are directly or indirectly involved in this saga, they are all being checked up by human personnel to make sure that no human casualty.
Okay, that was just what I was about to ask, based on the fact that the H5N1 is zoonotic in nature. Dr. Amusa, are you still with me?
He said...
Okay, I said
that
I just want you to, clarify the aspect of, the H5N1 being zoonotic in nature and which is transmittable to humans.
Yeah.
What efforts?
It is zoonotic in nature. Because we know that it is zoonotic in nature, that's why we are working in collaboration with One Health, with human counterparts and environment. And immediately after the incidents, we called the human part to take care of for contact tracing. All persons that are involved, from the client family up to the clinic, our doctors, were being checked up regularly to make sure that there's no human involvement. And then, meanwhile, we put awareness campaign all throughout all the 21 local government areas of the state to make sure that people are aware and they be alert that if they see any sign in there, even the regular signs they used to know, it is in the poultry, they should just report to our clinic immediately.
Just very quickly now, Dr. Amusa, before I let you go, what's your advice to poultry farmers on prevention and reporting for early response and containment?
Containment, yeah. Yes, what we did is that this one is just fortunate that there are only 14 peacocks, and all of them died. And then there's no any other birds in that vicinity. So we are very happy that they are all died. Only that because we saw the nature, the way they are dying, and that's what brought us to take the sample to VOM for investigation. So what we are doing now is that about 10-kilometer radius from the Brunei KB metropolis, we are putting active surveillance in all the birds, live bird markets, poultry houses, and even the local chickens, that will sensitize people to be very cautious. If they see any ill health, they should just report to us for immediate action.
Many thanks, Dr. Ahmed Umar Amusa, the Permanent Secretary, KB State Ministry of Animal Health, Husbandry and Fisheries, for your input on the network news.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now, moving on, parts of the Gombe Central Medical Stores was this morning gutted by fire. Emmanuel Akila reports that medical supplies worth over 5 billion naira were destroyed. Audio in that report. It will definitely come up in our subsequent bulletin. But let's join Michael Olale now in Lagos for reports making the rounds from that zone. Michael?
Thank you, Olajide. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has emphasized the imminent commencement of train operations between Agbado and Onyigbo stations, with a frequency of 10 to 15 minutes, while reiterating government's commitment to ensuring the clearance of all obstructions along the tracks to facilitate smooth operations. The governor disclosed this when he was given a tour of the red rail line infrastructure at the Ikeja, Iju and Agege train stations. S.A. Wamaka reports.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, alongside his cabinet, was conducted on a tour of the Red Line Rail infrastructure project in the Agege, Iju and Ikeja train stations. He expressed satisfaction, certifying the readiness of the Red Line Rail project for its forthcoming inauguration. The governor issued a stern warning to individuals who engage in trading activities as well as reside along the train tracks to immediately vacate the area.
Apart from the fact that we've explained to them that when you have an intra-city rail infrastructure, there will be a lot more frequency, of rolling stock, of the trains moving, eventually maybe as frequent as every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. So you can imagine, when you have that number of people selling stuff and living practically on the rail track, and the trains will be passing every 10-15 minutes, how unsafe would that be? And that's the conversation and that's the communication we want them to see, that it is in their interest, it is in their benefit, that will clear, and even everywhere, who lives on the rail track, it's not habitable, right? I mean, it's not safe, it's not something that we should condone, it's not something that we should encourage. And we'll also work with NRC to see if we can also wall off some of the tracks, closer to the train station, so that we can do maybe up to 300 to 500 meters of wall, real physical wall, not the little barricades that we see, not the little wire mesh. We must, so that we can keep safety of would-be passengers when they come on the platform to come and embark on the trains, and we can keep the train stations, safe and secure for everyone.
Earlier, the governor embarked on a visit to Obalende and Ijora on the bridge to monitor the ongoing clean-up exercise in those areas. In Lagos, S.A. Owamaka, NTA News.
Personnel of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, with the assistance of paramedics in the organization in this Monday, assisted a pregnant woman in the safe delivery of a baby boy after she unexpectedly went into labor while waiting to board a bus at the Onipan bus stop in Lagos. According to the Permanent Secretary of LASEMA, Olufemi Okeoson Itolu, the agency responded to a distress call from the neighborhood at the location in respect of an heavily pregnant woman who went into labor, and in collaboration with some market women at the bus stop, a temporary makeshift was provided in ensuring the safe delivery of the baby. The agency says the woman was successfully delivered of a bouncing baby boy amidst jubilation, while the mother and newborn were quickly transported to the nearest hospital for further medical care and attention after being stabilized. That is it from here. The news will continue after this break. Do stay.
Many thanks for being there. Now to our earlier reports, part of the Gombe Central Medical Store was this morning gutted by fire. Emmanuel Akila reports that medical supplies worth over 5 billion naira were destroyed.
Reconstructed store housing the medical supplies for the new Kuma General Hospital. Commissioner for Health confirmed that reports reached his office on Monday morning about the fire outbreak, which started 2 a.m., the cause of which is yet to be ascertained.
The items destroyed include, among other things, 2 walk-in cold stores and the ultra-cold chain equipment for COVID-19 vaccine, other commodities for family planning and HIV prevention.
Governor Muhammad Inuayhaya visits the site to assess the situation.
We'll urge all stakeholders, especially the donor and development partners, UNICEF, WHO, and so on, to intervene immediately, seeing that we are already hitting the first quarter, and we need vaccines, especially for CSM, meningitis, and even now there is an onset of cholera.
The Gombe Central Medical Store is indeed central to the healthcare system of not only Gombe State, but the entire northeast sub-region, as it has served the region for over 60 years. The destruction in this inferno is not just only drugs, but medical equipment have also been gutted. The state government promises collaboration with the federal government and international partners to provide immediate alternatives to prevent shortage of medical supplies to hospitals across the state, while lasting solution to the unfortunate incident is put in place. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Well, let's do some business with Musa Abubakar. Musa?
Thank you, Olajide. Genuine Forex operators in Abuja have expressed readiness to work with government towards bringing stability and eliminating illegal operators in the Forex market. This came up on the heels of a near chaotic situation Monday afternoon around the market.
Economy is taking over the whole world. But there's some companies that we have to acquire. That is Facebook, when Meta was in Facebook. Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. They constitute over percent of the global economy. How do they make their money? They make their money through data economy. As a businessman, you have employed one person before running your businesses. By the time you are coming next year, we want to see you empowering 10. Empowering 20, empowering 30. It is time for us to move from this level of me and me alone.
And after capital markets, the equities market closed Monday's trading session negative as investors endured a bearish first weekday of trade. The all-share index shed 3.15% to end session at 102,393.23 basis point, a total of 273.8 million shares in 9,688 deals, corresponding to a market value of 7.4 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 20% decline in volume, 8% decline in turnover, but 15% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 56 trillion naira. What does it? The news continues after the break.
All right, many thanks, Musa. Okay, all right, genuine Forex operators in Abuja have expressed readiness to work with government towards bringing stability and eliminating illegal operators in the Forex market. This came up on the heels of a near chaotic situation Monday afternoon around the market. Abdullahi Ajia takes it up from here.
Special committee on illegal forest traders, those mutilating the local currency, and other people that used to spoil the money, particularly the money in circulation. That was the committee. There are about 5 terms of reference. So, and the committee were here today in Zone 4 to enforce the committee mandate. And coincidentally, it happens they came, they meet the miscreant. They could not meet the leadership of the association. And you know, miscreants, you know how they behave. We are working on the same page with the commission. We too, we want these people to be flushed out of the market.
The inhabitants of Kaure village in Shiroro local government area of Niger State occupying some classes in the Kwara Central Primary School as internally displaced persons are making an appeal to the federal government to deploy military personnel to enable them to return to their ancestral home. Mukhtar Wowo, who visited the IDP camps on different occasions, tells us that members of other communities have since returned to their communities.
The scanty nature of the Kwara Central Primary School, designated to internally displaced persons camp, It's evident that many of the occupants have left the camp compared with the population seen during the previous visits.
Alawa and Muya, they have chance to go back. Before Fu Awi to Kauri, we don't have chance.
Adopada is the spokesperson for IDPs from Kaure village, still occupying some classes in the camp. While lamenting their 4-year stay in the temporary camp, Pada revealed that terrorists have destroyed their houses in the village. He appeals to the government to help rebuild their houses and deploy military personnel to fast-track their return and make their lives more meaningful.
Before the bandits come to our place, for our room and zinc, they collect all. They think that we understand only farm.
We want government to help us to get an army for us so that they will go and clear our bush for us so that we will go back and live a better life where we are living before.
At the Kuta Central Primary School IDP camp, the situation is almost similar, as many IDPs are said to have returned to their ancestral homes.
Some are taking risks. I cannot say they have been resettled. Some are taking the risks. They just feel that they have farm and they need to go and harvest their farm product.
The development at the IDP camps in Shiroro local government area of Niger State may not be unconnected with the recent successes recorded by the military in the fight against terrorism and insurgency in the country. In Kuta, Mukhtar Wu, NTA News.
And to political party matters, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has approved the delegates list for the Edo governorship election primary to nominate a candidate for the September 21st, 2024 governorship election in the state. The party's National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba in a statement says NWC has also approved the conduct of the Edo State governorship election primary for Thursday, 22nd February 2024 at the lawn tennis court of the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. NWC enjoins party members to remain loyal to the party's constitution, guidelines and the provisions of the Electoral Act. And next is sport update with Austin and Demodu as our guide.
The Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, on Monday entered into partnership with an internet provider for the development of sports in Nigeria. Speaking at the event, the General Secretary of the Federation, Mohammed Sanusi, says the partnership avails the Federation and other Nigerians access to free ambulance services in the course of any emergency.
It's about the Nigerian football and it is about all of you here because we succeeded together and without your support, we wouldn't have achieved what we have achieved.
Meanwhile, the 52 countries jostling to qualify and join Morocco in the 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations will on Tuesday know their route to Morocco. 23 teams will go through the qualifying stages to join the automatic qualifiers Morocco as hosts. The draws for the qualifiers will hold in Cairo, Egypt. Elsewhere, UEFA Champions League matches resume on Tuesday with Inter Milan up against Atletico Madrid, while PSV Eindhoven will trade tackles with Borussia Dortmund. On Wednesday, FC Porto will entertain English side Arsenal, while Napoli are handed a tough encounter against Barcelona. With sports updates, I'm Austin Ejemodu, NTA News.
Now let's go to the National Assembly leading a national dialogue.
The hell out of me, Agbo Jalingo, James Ivo Esquire, and Daniel Akwa-Gyobo. Put 2 bullets inside a pack of cigarettes and put in my pocket.
Asabe Usman, Sho Abubakar, Jonathan Uba, and Eunice Agbogu give account of violence allegedly suffered at hands of security agents in a case of gender-based violence. Reformation of the protection of human rights stakeholders agreed is paramount as international communities are disturbed with the ever-increasing violations of human rights in Nigeria.
In 2018-2019, before the SARS of 2020, one of the recommendations we made, which the government did not accept, was that we should have state police.
A free and vibrant media is indispensable to a healthy democracy. Yet journalists and media workers in Nigeria continue to face harassment, intimidation, and even violence for simply doing their jobs.
Of course, governments have a particular responsibility to ensure that people are able to enjoy their rights.
Despite treaties and conventions, insecurity across Nigeria, as well as the partial non-implementation of the National Action Plan 2022 to 2026 for the promotion of human rights, are serious menace.
The Human Rights Commission, NAPTIP, Refugees Commission, and all of that. And we in the National Assembly need to pay more attention in terms of providing funding to these institutions.
You are in civil society, you are human rights. You only go to television, you only write. The man down the grassroots does not understand what you are saying.
To this end, human rights must be respected in relation to socio-cultural and economic scope. From the National Assembly, Joshua Ogujde, NTA News.
Another break beckons. News continues shortly. Without seats on the network news, many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.